How are we all on this beautiful, beautiful day? How are we all doing? It's been an interesting week, huh? So what are we on now? Thursday? Is it Thursday today? It's Thursday, isn't it? Good morning, Caitlin, my delicious soul sister. How are we? Yes, it's Thursday. Now, do you know what's rather interesting, my tribe? So, from my last video, I was mentioning about how, let me just close this. I was mentioning how we're kind of going through a healing process at the moment as it's moving us through. Both men and women are moving through the male energy, understanding that male energy up, so we can get through up to the heart where we can start to really make a difference. That's where we're moving to. So I'm going to recap on a few things, but what was interesting was in my last video, I mentioned about, give me one moment, because my computer's making a noise. I don't want it to. I'm not choosing this. Right. Anyways, so in the last video, I was talking about how we're healing through the root. So the root survival needs. We'll go through it again just so we can kind of drill it in so we can get a better understanding of how we're healing it. So the root chakra is the red, associated with red. So red underwear, red socks, red t-shirts, anything of the color red will really kind of emphasize your root chakra. Also, it's very, you got to be aware with emotion, with expression, it's all polarized, right? You've always got a positive and a negative aspect of those emotions and feelings. So it's understanding, you know, like we've got a positive and negative aspect of masculine energy. We've got a positive and negative aspect of female energy. You've got positive and negative emotion of anxiety. So, hey, Cal. So, you got to remember with everything, there's always a polar opposite. So, and it has to be, right? Because under the law of the universe, spiritual law states, in order for one to exist, there must be its opposite. It's the law of polarity. As well, with our souls incarnating into earth, we did it because we wanted to feel duality. Duality is having the free will and experience of being able to feel both ends of the spectrum, whilst it may not be very much what we in the physical want to feel. It's actually what we as a soul want to understand and want to kind of delve into. And we must understand, and this is something that which has really been kind of like drilled into me a lot recently, is we have just a minute understanding of, you know, your soul purpose, your, you know, of soul life and what we're actually doing. It's so complex and so big, we just can't even fathom it, you know. So it just, over the past few days, I was just made aware of just how complex it is and just how little we know. Let's see if I can take away that orange hue off my phone because I don't really like it. Maybe that's a bit better. Okay, so there's a lot more going on than we can fathom, so you got to understand that and remember that you're not going to be able to know the reasons for everything, but the best thing you can do is understand how to kind of move above and beyond it, especially those emotions and feelings that we don't particularly want to feel. Because whilst there is the law of duality, we do have the law of neutralization. Now, the law of neutralization isn't really spoken about. And what that means is, whilst the pendulum may swing left to right, people, you may know this, if you're an extremely happy person, then you may find you'll swing from one end to the other. So they say the equal of your happiness will be the equal of your sadness, if that makes sense. So what that basically means is, if you're an extremely happy person, you will more than likely, if you don't use the law of neutralization, find yourself swinging up and down like a yo-yo, a bit like a pendulum, swinging back and forth. And there's a way you can get out of that. Let's see if I can just take this glow off my face a little bit. I don't know where that light's coming from. There's just a light on my face. You must, angels, can you kind of just back out a little bit? Just a little bit. Okay, that'll do. So so there's two ends of everything, two ends of the spectrum, you know, and we must understand this and remember that we don't know everything, and there's a lot more going on. So we've got to be patient with ourselves and be a bit more understanding, you know. So we are in June now, right? The pandemic is still proceeding. But what's interesting is all the things that are being brought up. So I kind of went through this thing, and if you look at the whole isolation thing and you look at it from a high perspective, cheers, Steve, you can see that it was an interesting creation in which we did in order for ourselves to wake up. So I noticed, now tell me if you resonate with this. I must say I don't really, because I've done a lot of work before all this went down, so it didn't really affect me all that much. I don't know if that says much. Does that say much, that my life didn't really change after quarantine and lockdown? Who knows? Other than meeting a few friends, of course. Right, so, hey Christine, how's it going? Right, isolation, right. Did you notice isolation went through steps? Now, forget about the whole media perspective of it. We're talking individual, we're talking soul and collectively. It went through a process. And I noticed, tell me if you notice this process, but at first it was kind of like, right, we're locked down. Now I'm lonely and bored, right? So that's the first phase. First phase, lonely and boredom. What do we do? So after a amount of time, we gradually get beyond that. And we start finding stuff to do to occupy ourselves. So now we've got all this stuff that we're doing to distract ourselves. So after we've done all the stuff that we can do, we go back to being bored again. So then after that time, after the lonely bored period, come the time where we kind of start to look at ourselves, health, fitness. We all know this, guys, how many people have started doing gym, resistant bands, all this stuff at home, even people who didn't really go to the gym. Now, this is all self-reflection, and this is all healing work. Now, you may not know this, but when you work out, it moves energy. A lot of people think that working out is simply about gaining muscle and looking good. Well, actually, on an energetical level, you're moving energy around. That's why people feel so good and why it can be so addictive. So a lot of people taking note of health. And then there's a lot of people, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but as we're healing this root and the sacral, I've noticed a lot of goddesses joining up to that OnlyFans. Now, go you is what I'll say. If you're comfortable to do that, then that's great. But it's just being aware that the reason why you're feeling this need, OnlyFans, if anyone doesn't know, is basically you can go on there as a model or as a bit of an amateur adult actor, would it be? I guess it would be. I'll refer to that, adult acting. And you can just, enjoy yourself, and people would enjoy, people watch you and whatever have you. And I think it's wonderful. It's showing that people are becoming more confident. Women are showing that, stepping out and saying, this is me and this is my body and I enjoy myself. And I think that's fucking awesome. I love that shit. But it's just about being aware of where this is coming from. Now, the reason why this has been emphasized lately, ladies, this is to you, is because you are clearing out that sacral, basically moving out all the guilt, shame, embarrassment. This is what all these energies which have been plunging in over the last few weeks, not only for men, for men as being for women as well. We're all clearing that out, and that's moving all this shit out of the way so we can start to express without judgment, without shame, guilt. And so I've noticed a lot of women kind of joining this OnlyFans, which is great, but just be wary, whilst it's good to explore and, to show your confidence in yourself, this is your vessel. And don't go down the route of just starting to see it as a money-making machine, if that makes sense, because OnlyFans is you pay to see, this person play with themselves or whatever have you, go you, it's great. But just be wary that you don't slip into this idea that, it's just your body starts to become a money-making machine, and you lose that initial kind of like wanting to show your exploration and your creativity with your expression. So I'm all for the expression of it, all for play with yourselves, all that kind of stuff. But remember that when it comes to receiving money through the body and stuff, it can start to slip into that kind of purity energy. So it's just being aware that when you're doing that, you are, when you've got people, when you've got your fans watching you play with yourself, enjoying yourself, that you are actually enjoying your body at the time and not just kind of doing what you're doing just because, you're wanting to make money, You'll only create issues within yourself, and you'll create a lower vibration, and you'll take away that initial exploration and expressive element of that. But yeah, I just found it's crazy, because I just seen so many people, and I got loads of women on my friends list who have joined up to it as well. And I mean, no judgment, I don't judge at all. I think we should all express if we're comfortable with that. It's everybody's level of expression is down to how comfortable they are with that, and who's anybody to judge it. But it's just about staying, just remembering that the body is sacred. It is a powerful tool, and it's okay to share that and to enjoy your body, and to share it with others in the energy. But when there's money involved, remember there's a certain energy to that, and if you're not aware of it, you'll take away the purity of your original expression. And that's not what it's about, because the whole reason why everybody's feeling this oomph to express, this oomph especially to get creative, fantasy, sexuality, emotion, is simply because we're healing it. And so that's why that's going on. So just remember, it is your body after all, and energy travels. When people are watching you, energy travels. Remember to protect yourself. Always protect yourself. We've been told about sexual protection physically, but never protection energetically. Now, what I mean by this is when you're going out, I do this, not just anything to do with sexuality, but every morning, every evening. Put your energy up, cleanse your energy, right hand from the top to the bottom, all the way down, with the intention that you're just cleaning your energy. This is all it takes. These are little things that you can do to help heal and cleanse and kind of like push through all that dust and debris which has been accumulated from a lack of energetical protection from previous partners, abusive relationships, domestic relationships, traumatic times and things like this. Because ultimately, because we haven't been taught how to protect ourselves, a lot of those past experiences and past times are still connected to us. And what I mean by that is they still affect our present when it's actually in the past and it's been and gone. Does that make sense? A lot of what's going on in the present now is a lot of that is coming from, especially all the trauma and kind of that kind of stuff is coming from the past, and basically just for you to clear it and move it out. I've got my cards, by the way, so we're going to do some cards today, and we'll get the universal. Okay, right. So that was just that. So just remember, when it comes to your physical body, we've been talking about protection, but just energetically protect yourself. Simply call upon your angels and guides, and say, "Yes, I got some great music. I'll put it on in a bit." And just say thank you for cleansing my energy. Thank you for protecting me. I go into this interaction, into this situation, knowing I'm fully protected for the highest good of myself and the universe. And it's really that simple. So I just want to kind of, let's start at the root, we can move up. So root healing, what can we do? I've spoken about this in my other video, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. Simply, red is associated with the root, so it's about creativity, it's about survival, basic needs met, support and stability. If you are a very blunt person, like myself, or you are a very assertive person, if you're somebody, when a joke's been told to you, you get a little bit frustrated because you just want the punchline. If you're that type of person, it's not advised to wear red, because red emphasizes the red characteristics, and the red characteristics, remember I said at the beginning of this video, there's a positive and negative. Well, there's a positive and negative to all color spectrums within your emotional, within the emotional system, so to speak, because red is good for rooting, grounding, good for confidence in a way, because it's red, it's about sensual, sexual in a way, but it's also about stability. So wearing red t-shirts, red socks, red underwear and things like this, if you're a very assertive person, we'll say, red's not really great to wear because it will emphasize those characteristics, traits. So you want to take note that all color is frequency and vibration. Everything is frequency and vibration. So all color is frequency and vibration. Everything you wear is affecting your energy. Everything. This is why I don't really wear much black, although I have brought a couple of black things lately, but balance. Understanding colours do affect your aura. They really, really do. Red emphasises your root, assertiveness. Orange emphasises your fantasy, creativity. Try it when you're next door again. Put an orange t-shirt on or something, and you'll see it really, because all colours are, the reason why they are that colour is because it is that that's, the vibration in which, I'll have to look into this, because I saw that, whilst I understand everything's vibrations, orange is that vibrational frequency, particularly that's why it's orange, but I actually read that the reason why we see it as orange is because it is every other frequency but orange, if that makes sense. We see it because it is the exclusion of that colour. I'll have to look into it because I found that really interesting. So what we see, so when you see blue, you're not seeing blue, you're seeing every colour but the exclusion of the colour blue. So when I look at this card, we're not seeing yellow, we're seeing every colour but yellow, and because the spectrum, and we can't pick up the missing yellow, it kind of shows up as that. I don't know if that's fact yet, or it's just interesting, interesting perspective. I love to put these little nuggets out there. So yeah, colours, clothing has a real effect on you. So red, why do you think in movies and all this kind of stuff it's always the colour red? Have you noticed this? Music videos, films, it's always red, and that's because red is associated with the root chakra, And even in movies, they try to trigger your emotional reaction and keep you in that root chakra, keep you down. Reds, oranges, these kind of colours, right? The more they can subliminally put these in movies, music videos and things like this, the more they can kind of influence your programming within those chakras. The Weeknd, how many times have you seen one of his music videos? Do you see red all the time, black and red? Why do you think that is? Emphasizing subliminally keeping you in the root chakra, whilst keeping you in the root chakra, speaking of sexual lyrics, mixing in the sacral, so merging the sacral with the root and kind of keeping that low vibration mixed within that kind of theme. And they do that a lot. They do it a lot. They subliminally put baseline subliminals, survival, all this kind of stuff, and then sing about something else, which basically will keep it at a low vibration, so you don't get the positive end of that spectrum. Media music's always one to be aware of, man. You really got to be aware of it. So colours, how do you heal your root? Dedication. You got to be committed. Dedication, commitment, grounding. Affirmations. You've got to remember, we are collectively and individually healing so much at once, hundreds of lifetimes in one lifetime. Collective karma, individual karma, all coming in at once. This is why it's so intense, and this is why it's so amazing as well, and why these times are just so awesome, and why there's so many ascended masters around now, and why there's so many extraterrestrials and higher beings really kind of interested and really wanting to see what's going on, is simply because we're amazing creatures. We were an experiment, and they never knew how it was going to turn out, and how it's turned out has been quite impressive. So I think everybody should just take a minute to be proud of who they are, be proud to be a part of humanity, because I see so many people posting up humanity's a virus and this, that and the other. No, like, humanity is not the virus, it's your perspective of yourself, which is your own virus, right? Because humanity is a fucking beautiful creation. Nothing that is created from Great Spirit in its purity is ever a virus. Not even, guys, I see a lot of people putting up about reptilians, about Anunnaki. You must understand that even these are creations of love. They served a purpose in the universe and the cosmos. And the more that we start to judge and label and, and discriminate, we're not going to move past the healing. And whilst we're healing ourselves in humanity, we are healing our connection with the world. We are healing our connection with the extraterrestrials, guys. You know this, right? We're healing everything. We've got so much fear against extraterrestrials and outside beings. We're healing a lot of stuff. It's not just individual, but we're sending love to the cosmos, because we've all been in different places in the cosmos, maybe not so many years or whatever have you, but at the end of the day, we are collectively healing on that level. And we've got to understand that we're not just healing ourselves. Hey, we're healing animals too. Anybody else notice animals starting to get a bit more emotional, kind of like showing emotion, almost like they're stepping up their evolutional blueprint, right? It's because everything's stepping up. And so we are healing everything. And the reason why we've got this responsibility is because we are conscious enough to be able to do it. So we are sending love to each and every single one of us. We are sending love to the world, to the animals, to the sea, to the land. And not to mention, we are sending love to the Anunnaki. We are sending love to the extraterrestrials. We're sending love to everything and everyone. Why? Because that's how we heal. Because you must remember, everything is a process in its evolutional path, and you've got to have one end of the spectrum to know the other. People go on about the Anunnaki, they did this and that and the other. Well, they were a part of the creation of us, right? So if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have been created. Bring it in, take away that kind of, that fear-based judgment energy, and you will start to see from the higher that a lot of it, okay, there was a lot of misunderstanding, there was a lot of perversion, there was a lot of destruction, there was a lot of shit that went on. But there's been a lot of shit that's gone on elsewhere. We're not the only ones, and they are not the only ones that done it. It's all a part of the evolutionary process. And, you know, Earth being a project, so to speak, and free will being created here, first place in the entire creation of the cosmos, and in the mind of the infinite. Earth is the first. I don't think it's the only place now, but when it was first created, was the first place ever to have created free will. So let's just remember that in order to heal ourselves, that we've got to send love to ourselves, and this means you've got to move beyond this idea that we are parasites, viruses, extraterrestrials are all out to get us and out to, you know, probe us. You know, we just got to move through this, because this is what healing is, and this is what we're doing. And you've got to remember, guys, when it comes to this is all survival, this is all root stuff, right? Because we fear of death, fear of being invaded, fear of ghosts, fear of aliens, fear of, right? So you've got to understand that the reason why this has been mentioning is because these are programmings that are going on in your root, fear that needs to be kind of swirled out and washed away. Do you see what I'm saying? You like that, Christine? But this is it. I know it sounds a little bit crazy, guy, but just breathe with me, man. And just ask yourself, you know, is the truth to this? Fear the probe. But this is it, we're healing and we're moving forth, and it's needed to do, and it's needed to be recognised and understood, because a lot of the extraterrestrials and higher beings are wanting to come in and wanting to help us, but because we have so much fear, and we are very much fear-based, which causes us to be aggressive, obviously, because we've been manipulated by the dark energy. Good morning, Shaza. We've been manipulated by the dark masculine energy, so extraterrestrials of the higher vibration kind of like don't want to come here until they know that we are going to greet them with, you know, the love and compassion. And so they're all kind of watching right now and seeing how we're progressing and seeing how we're reacting to stuff, you know, because when the time's right, they will come down and make themselves known. Make no mistake about it. We will see them. So, survival. Remember, guys, have you noticed when it comes to horror films and all this, that and the other, what's the main theme? Survival, isn't it? Every film, horror film, natural disaster film, what's the theme? Survival. Why they want to keep you in survival, thinking that you are needing to have the government, needing this and the other to feel safe. So how do you get out of it? How do you get out of it? You affirm to yourself that you are a divine being of infinite potential. You are protected in your design and blueprint. We all have a soul blueprint, guys. If you want to know about the soul and blueprint, buy my book on Amazon. I've heard it's sold out on Amazon USA, so but you can go to Lulu. If you need the link, I will send you the link. I talk about all this stuff in there, and a lot more. So it's on Amazon UK if you're in the UK, and elsewhere, I think Europe, it's still for sale. So it's understanding that we've been programmed to stay in this fear-based energy, you know, down at the root, and there's a call now, and there's almost like a oomph to clean that out, you know. And how do we do that? Speak. You got to write it down. Write it. I am safe. I am divine. I am perfect. There's a soul blueprint. You are not here on purpose. If lately I started this video by saying that the divine are making me aware of just how complex the soul journey is, and it is so complex. We have not even a 0.5% of an understanding of it. And I've mentioned 0.3 or 0.1 of an understanding of it in all my videos. It's that big, but rest assured that there is a plan, and you are protected and you are guided in every step of the way, and you are here for a reason. You are here for a reason and a purpose, and the point of that reason and purpose is simply for you to uncover your potential. And in order to uncover your potential is to remember who you truly are. And this is the point, and this is why they got to keep you in the root, keep you in survival mode, is because if they can keep you low down here, you'll never get to here. And when this is where you need to get to, this is the feminine. And this is why men, you need to come up to here too. And ladies, we need to clean through that dark masculine and move that up so you come through to a purer, higher feminine energy, one which you will never have felt before as well. So that's a beautiful thing for the ladies in this energy. The divine feminine is powerful, but this energy, you have never felt it as pure as you're gonna feel it. But before you can get to that, you've got to move that masculine out. And gentlemen, you've got to move in and merge in those feminine aspects, those feminine energetical aspects, because if you don't, you will start to feel lost, you will feel down and depressed. It will just naturally happen. And as this happens, you will start to clog it up, block it up, and as one goes, the rest go. As one clears, the rest start to clear. As we start to move through this, you'll start to understand that one interlinks with another. In the universe, everything correlates with another. One's over here, which relates to that over there. One's here, that relates to that there. So it's understanding how everything interlinks and moves together, right? And this is it. So we move it up and out. But before that, there's a lot being cleaned out. And that's what we're doing. And that's simply why I've had a lot of people message me about partners, their ex-partners appearing just suddenly out of the blue. Like, why is my ex-partner appearing out of nowhere suddenly, you know? And I mentioned it in my last video, how when we're clearing this out, the universe is going to say, okay, so, you know, are you healing? Are you really, you know, are you moving forward? Let's see. And so it will test you. It will throw certain people back at you and just see if you're going to come from a point of men and women, desperation. Both men and women come from it. Men come from desperation for sexual expression. Women come from desperation for the feeling of love. Let me write that down. I'll expand on that. So if you take those two aspects, you can see how relationships kind of don't they don't really turn into what we think, because ultimately that's what happens and that's where we're at. So we're kind of cleaning through that. And so it's basically men are being asked now, you know, is this working for you? Is, you know, keeping everything locked in working for you? And they'll know this by the fact that they're feeling more down, depressed and lost. Gentlemen, this will be towards you. If you don't connect with these and you don't start to build it up, you will start to feel more lost, down, depressed. And unfortunately, because as you disconnect more and more and more, your purpose seems meaningless and then suicidal. So it's understanding the reason why you're getting these thoughts and these energies and these things are coming up is because your soul is saying it's time for you to come up now. You've been in that dark masculine, not even in the real masculine. You've been in a dark version of it for too long. Ladies, is the same for you. You've got that feminine there, but it's merging it and understanding it to its true potential and capacity. Whilst there's a lot of, we've been here before, we are not really understanding just how pure the potential of both energies when we combine them and unite them. And that's why I speak what I speak and I do what I do and I say what I say, because power in unity. There's always power in unity, right? So we'll move through it. And as we start to heal this, all those external influences, as we collectively inwardly heal ourselves, we are like a ripple effect to the people around us. They start to heal, and as they start to heal, we will start to heal the collective. Now, as the collective starts to heal, all these movies, all this extremely subliminal, low vibrational, sexualized undertones to everything will fade, because that desperation from the males will have faded. The impurity of sexual expression will have gone, so there won't be none of that. So you can see how, as we this is what I believe moving sexual energy into the higher, or life force energy into the higher chakra means. It's simply moving away the fear, moving away the undertones of, you know, the undertone of kind of like an ulterior motive to everything, and leaving the energy and the expression as it is without tampering with it. And as we inwardly heal and outwardly heal, the world will, you know. And that's how we do it, but we've got to start with us. And this is why Buddha always said, you know, you've got to be the change you wish to see. No good ever come from anybody who come to earth and said, I'm going to change the world, I'm going to fix the world. I look back at all the characters that did that. Just saying. So, just take that in a second. Okay, so where we're eventually going to go to is we will start to get more meaningful relationships, because as we clear out, men won't be coming from these from the energy of desperation, sexual desperation, and women won't be coming into that energy of a love desperation, if that makes sense, because we're all going to start to move up, unite, and bring in that love energy, the love frequency, so to speak. And as we start to feel that, the rest, well, is history, so to speak. So that's where we're at root. So my book, I talk about healing, about the chakras and how we can heal that. Certain fruits, I've got a fair few contacts, guys, on my friends list. Nutrition, gym, workout, you name it, they're on my list. Regressions, Reiki healing, angel card healing, you know. So if you're looking for any of this kind of stuff, drop me a message and maybe I can point to you to the right direction. You know, if I can help in any way, I will share, you know, my resources with you. So moving up, creativity. Right now, it's time to get creative. You're in this space right now, this isolation, because soul is saying, let's get creative, whatever means that is for you. Your creative is your soul expression. You'll find that maybe you haven't drawn for a while, you haven't painted for a while, you haven't created music for a while, you haven't anything creative, made a model from matchsticks. In this space, take time to bring in the right-sided brain, because that's what's needed in this space, basically. Because the right-sided brain is your creativity, it's your expression. So you can see the right-sided, how it is linked with your root and your sexual organs, your sacral, navel. So it's all interlinked. You can see how it all comes together. And so this is why when you have an oomph of sexual energy, when you're feeling really horny, on the absolute equal side, you have an equal passion of creativity, right? Sex, the act of sex is creativity. How do you know this? Because you are creating life when you have sex. So in a way, sexual activity is a form of creativeness. Have we judged any other form of creativeness? No, but sexual activity we do. But it is a form of creativeness, a form of creative expression. This is why creativity is interlinked with the sacral. Because when you think about it, how does creativity have anything to do with the sexual organs? And that's how it is because creativity is the same energy and life force of sexual energy. And this is why a lot of gurus and a lot of people put out there, raise that energy up, use it for creative purposes, and why there's a lot of emphasis in order to balance sexual energy. Yes, we can play with it, but try use it for that creative aspect. I've used it, I've meditated on it, it's great, it's powerful. It's just understanding that. So creative is actually right-sided stuff. So whilst you're in this space and the world's not plunging all this left brain stuff at you, logic, numeracy, in my book, I won't say it, buy my book and you will see exactly what I mean. There's an image in there where it shows you exactly what the right and the left side brain does. And if you look at this and then you compare it to modern education, you will swiftly see that the educational system has just obliterated all right brain activity. And the reason for that is right brain activity is feminine activity. Ladies, this is you as well. This is not just men. Right-sided brain is female, related to the higher chakras. Left side is related to the lower. Keep school in the lower with the left-sided brain, male energy, and then when they get out, let's just keep every theme about roots and desperation of sexual expression, because it's not about sexual expression, which is the problem that we have with society. It's the desperation to express that, and the over need to express that, just because there's been so much misunderstanding of male and female energies. So moving that up, so you can see, this is why I'm talking about male and female. And I think I am going to write a book about this, because male and female interlinks with everything. Male, female, female, male. It's everywhere. So I think we need a better and clear understanding of how male and female interplay on every part and aspect of our being, from soul to physical. Not just the physical look, tits, dick, whatever have you, talking more about the energetical sense, and how, who knew that the right side of your brain is female? Did anybody? Did anybody know that this top half is female? The heart is the connector of the male and the female point, and this lower end is actually male energy. No, we don't, because we don't get taught this stuff. This is stuff that we need to get taught in education. This is stuff where I'm going to be moving forward within my teachings and stuff. I'm really going to start to push towards moving this stuff into the educational system. But obviously I'm doing it in the background. They'll see me when I'm just like fully there, so. But this is what I'm talking about. This is why we're talking about it, because it needs to be spoken about and it needs to be expressed. There's no need for any more repression anymore. We are starting to understand more about the frequency and energy. We're starting to understand more about awareness. We're starting to reconnect with angels and guides. They are real. Use them. If you don't believe in them, go and look them up. I had a gentleman message me a few weeks ago having issues with negative energies. Gave him a few little tips and pointers. Called in his angels. Since then, things have really, really improved. So don't judge until you try it, man. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's going to work and you're going to get rainbows and glitter and this being appear next to you, but you might just find that shit changes. And that's the thing. That's the point. So whilst you're in this space, use it wisely, man. Use it wisely. We got another month, 2 months, maybe even 3 months, and this is just basically for us to get at the root, heal the sacral, our relationships to ourselves. When we reconnect with our angels in the universe, you will start to reconnect more with you, because the universe is you. We are all a holographic imitation derived from the mind of source. That's all we are, just imitations, or different separate expressions of that, coexisting and learning from one another and observing and that's all we're doing. And so it's about bringing in that understanding, and and moving away judgment, shame, guilt, you know, and just saying, you are me and I am you. You're on your journey and I'm on mine. You do you and I'll do me. But if you need a hand, then here it is. And that's how I work, man. It's like, I'm not going to sit and just talk this all day, every day, you know. But if you need a hand, or you want some support, then, yo, I'm here, man. Here's the hand, you know what I mean? But this is, again, we are talking about expression. We are talking about creativity. Asking for help, guys, is expression. Again, this is related to the sacral. We're coming back to the sexual energy, life force energy, root energy. Asking for help, asking for support, moving. Can you see how we're here? Root, sacral, moving it. Basically, it's not, you know, we got taught in school that it can be shameful to ask for support. It can be shameful for, you know, to think that you can't do it by yourself, so to speak. And there's no shame in it. And that shame and guilt, again, is being held in here. When I talk about shame and guilt, we are not just talking a sexual energy, sexual gaming show. We're talking about the whole concept of it. From actions, from words you may have said, things you may have done, from things that may have happened to you when you were younger. All that guilt and shame is held here. So that's what we're moving through. So it's just understanding that it's not just about sexual shame, guilt, but it's the whole package. All that guilt, shame, and embarrassment is all held here. And why is it held there? Because it's just above the below the dantian, and the dantian is your sack of power, so to speak. And if you ain't clear here, then when you get there, you'd cause more harm than good. So yes, always express. Vital. With heart. Okay. Creativity as well. I had a discussion the other day, and it was rather interesting. It was rather interesting, right? Because it was talking about fantasies. Now, I've got a book called Nancy's Secret Garden, and it basically is a book about women's fantasies. And it's just really interesting, like, even in this book, people expressing, they still felt embarrassed and shameful to express, and it was simply a book about fantasies. We all know fantasies is simply a creative source. It's actually really, really important to your creative mechanism. And so it was interesting because in this book, and a lot of the women said, oh, I feel shameful kind of admitting this kind of stuff. And it just made it apparent just how much we've been repressed in our creative expression, from imagination to fantasy, you know. It's like we are creative beings. We visualize, we see. As I said in my last video, thoughts are images. If you didn't know this, go and watch my last video. I spoke about this. How thoughts are actually, when you say you're thinking, you're creative images. So when you're being repressed in your creativity of imagination of fantasy, you're actually being repressed in a part of your self, a really vital part of yourself. And they do it purposely, and this is why they've done it with school, is because you can't fully develop your whole being whilst you're only half a being, if that makes sense. Because they're giving you half, they're giving you the left side, they're giving you the lower, but they're not giving you the right side and the higher, you know. And I just think that that's there in place and in purpose, and that's where we're moving to. But before we can bring that to the next generation, because this is what all this is about. I'm saying this to you, and you're doing what you're doing for the next generation, because the new world's here now. We're bringing and we're blazing the path, and that fifth wave generation, when the fifth wave hit, which they have, man, the world's going to change, because they're bringing in so much light with them. And the more light they bring with them, the more angels can come in and ascended masters can come in. And when they come in, and the extraterrestrials can come, and that's when that's when, you know, we'll get given a bit more disclosure. But until humans can deal with a little bit of the unknown without raiding shops and without falling into panic mode, then we won't see that, because it's quite simply the highest extraterrestrials won't want to do that to us, right? So it's purposely created this way. So there's a lot moving in. You've got to be patient and understanding with yourselves and with everybody else. And as we get to a week Sunday, around the week Sunday, and a week after that, you'll probably start to feel a bit more of an oomph in the solar plexus. And the solar plexus is about life purpose, self-esteem, and life direction. As when we get to that point later on in June, I'll be doing a video then with my angels and stuff, no doubt. Have a bit more information on how we can move forward, what's going on at that point in time. These videos are always about the now kind of energy right now. So okay, so I've mentioned how creative energy and sexual energy are one and the same. So balance them out. I do want to say that a lot of people's perspectives and understanding of sexuality derives from media, derives from porn, derives from music, derives from movies. Now, you got to understand there is an underlying agenda, and the agenda is if they can keep us and everybody else in that lower sexual energy from desperation, so desperation to express. And this is why a lot of music is all about sex. You know, the tune I had at the beginning of this video, it's a great tune, I love it, but it is just basically filth. I'm aware of it, and this is what being awareness is about, is being aware of what is being presented to you, taking responsibility for that and putting your energy up, and also balancing out those influences, right? Because there's nothing wrong with listening to a filthy tune or something like that, but if you're listening to all day, every day, can you imagine what your body's picking up? Now, we are 70%, well, 65% water, because we don't drink enough of it. But it's been proven that water is affected by the words you speak. Now, if we've got headphones on and it's just talking about sex, it's talking about depression, it's talking about drugs, it's talking about clubbing, you're having that drilled into your head all day, 24/7. And those become your programmings. Those become your way of life. Those become built into your system. And if you notice, a lot of songs, media don't really touch upon these higher energies. They're always lower. So it's always about self-esteem, depression. It's always about, you know, wanting to have sex or something like that. So sexual desperation. It's always about guns, violence, survival. Can you see how these themes, and they're purposely meant that way. And that's why on my videos, I always have the odd vibrational tune and stuff, because I think it's vital that we balance it out. So it's understanding that there is a lot of manipulation around sexual energy, sexual expression, and how, you know, what's right in our expression of that. But it's moving through. So I had a lot of messages. People getting contacted by the exes. Look, all that is basically saying, do you love yourself enough? Do you love yourself enough to say no to this? You know, because from the same thoughts create the same experiences, right? So if you find yourself coming up against somebody who is from your past, and maybe you're just like, meh, all you simply need to do is just say to yourself that you've recognized the lesson, and you're going to reclaim your power back, and just send love and forgiveness to each and every single one. And that's all you need to do. It's entirely up to you if you go back down that route. The way I see it is, I can't see why soul would pull you in twice into the same relationship, but if that's what you want, then go for it. But I feel that when it comes to relationships, once you've parted, to keep going back is it deteriorates after a bit. It's almost, you're coming from, whilst it is healthy to work upon strengthening a relationship, but to keep coming back out of need, out of desperation, out of loneliness and obsession and possession, which is where we seem to base most of our perspectives of love and relationships on, it just tends to get worse and worse and worse. So me personally, if I found that happening, I'd be like, not really, but you know, be wary. If you go back into that scenario, you may find yourself having a bit of repeat, because soul is just saying, you know, have you learnt your lesson, so to speak? Are you ready to move on? Do you want something different? Shall we bring in a new energy, or do you want to continue playing around with this type of energy? And so that's what it is. So let me recap that. So your ex is coming in, they are representing a certain type of energy. I'm getting a light bulb moment here. Let me write this down. So it's not about the physical person, it's about the energy that they're bringing to you. So they are bringing in a certain energy which you have played around with before, that didn't work, and so it's coming back to see if you fancy playing around with it again. Or if you turn around and say, no, I've had enough of that kind of energy, I fancy something more whole, more worthy of my divinity and love, right? And then once we say that, once we do that, new experiences come, and that's how we do it, you know, that's how we change life. A lot of these things I'm talking about, I talk about the chakra systems, how they're related to certain things, but take point and notice that these can be related to a lot more in life as well. You know, law of the universe, life goes in rhythm and patterns, everything repeats. And it repeats itself because we never seem to make a different choice. So, and then we say, oh, why does life keep repeating itself? Why does it keep doing this? And it's simply because we're not choosing to think anything different. We're not choosing to visualize a different outcome from a scenario. We just keep going down the same route. For instance, when the bill comes, we visualize in our heads, feeling stressful that maybe, when that red letter comes, that we're going to get kicked out, again, survival mode. And when we feel this, we create the image of us getting kicked out of the house, and then creates the emotion, right? How do you change it? When that letter comes, is visualizing that you are protected. A stranger giving you the money you need to pay your rent, to pay your debt or whatever have you. This is how you move beyond limited programming and belief system. Is simply taking the dedication and commitment to yourself and saying, I want to move forward. I've had enough of a mediocre life. I'm ready to claim my divinity, my infinite. And that's basically what you're being asked to do. And until you realize who you are, the potential you have, you will constantly be given lessons and tests. And until you hit in all of these chakras, more of the lower, you won't really find much of these higher things coming through, because we are very much clearing the lower to make a way for the higher, which we will be moving into over the next few months, and it will be a very beautiful feeling. A lot of men will start to move into it too as well, which is beautiful. I'm starting to see that men are going to start to come together and start to learn the understanding of love from a divine feminine pure energy, and women are going to start to move into alignment of feminine and masculine with understanding. So we are moving into an unprecedented time. This has never been seen, and although we have been to certain points in history and repeated, this point we haven't, because we're in a whole new energy. Ladies are more powerful, men are more powerful, we are all powerful, and that's why the grip is slipping, and that's why, you know, we're in an amazing point in time right now. That's why it's a blessing to be alive. And it's also why your soul chose to be here, because it knew. A few things. Crystals, colours, and I mentioned clothes, so you can wear colours. So if you're looking to heal your sacral, wear oranges. If you're looking to heal your solar plexus. Wear yellows if you're looking to heal your heart or open your heart up a bit more. Wear green or pink. Pink is a good colour to really kind of open that, because it helps to bring in the feminine energy, because pink is a higher vibration. The reason why it's related to females is simply because it's on a higher vibrational frequency spectrum compared to the other colours which men wear. Blues, violets, indigos, all these kind of things will affect your aura and will help to bring healing. So this is what awareness is about. It's awareness of the clothes you wear, awareness of the music you listen to, it's awareness of what you allow yourself to be affected by, where you allow yourself, your energy to be fragmented to, because ultimately your thoughts are just energy fragmented into different timelines, and you just follow down that. So depending on what your resonant thought is, you will follow down that kind of like guideline. Rose quartz, Christine, rose quartz, good for love, to help to love the self. A lot of people think like, how are crystals, this, that and the other. Well, the thing with crystals is not about the physical, it's about the energy. It takes a certain frequency and vibration to create and mold such a shape and to have such power. So that is why crystals are so powerful. They've been known throughout history to be healing, they've been known to be power conductors, and they are in every technical device that you own. Do you know this? Your phones, your laptops, your TVs, crystals are in them. They're everywhere, you just don't even know it. And that's because ultimately crystals are really, really powerful. So I did have one, but it was its time to come off. But I got lapazuli for expression, for when I do my videos. So it's good for the throat. You can have green agate for the heart. So you can have crystals as well. Wear them for certain healing properties within the body. And also, you can put them in water, which is why I have my crystal water. This one's Hope, Faith and Courage. If you're looking for anything like this, by the way, it's on bewater.com. It's really, really good. It is plastic. You can get glass ones, but I wouldn't want to drop it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, there's a lot of healing. We're coming to a new moon as well within the next couple of days, which is awesome, because the new moon's going to prompt a lot to do with expression, creativity, and relationships. Or shove them in your bra, as Christine says. Okay, guys, I'm going to draw a card from the Universe Has Got Your Back deck. And I'm going to draw one from the usual deck that I do for you guys. And then I think we're good. We gave a good understanding of what's going on. Share this video with people. Ladies, if you know gentlemen who are maybe feeling a bit lost, a bit down, don't know what to do with themselves, show them this video and point them onto my other videos. And gents, if you see any ladies as well, show them this video. Just share it. We need to share the information, because knowledge shared becomes wisdom. Thank you, Christine. Right. Okay. Okay, so I got 4 cards. It's not going to be too long. We'll just give a current energy and what the universe wants us to know. So the current energy, listen. We are being asked collectively to listen to the sound, to the voice of the soul, to listen to ourselves, because it's only ourselves that know what we truly need, and it's only ourselves that know where we're going. Don't allow anybody else to tell you what to be, do, have, where you're going, and know that you're infinite in your potential and where you can go, but listen to the inner voice. It will guide you. Granted, it's not as easy as just saying listen to your inner voice. This is where dedication comes in. This is where you've got to be committed, and also where you've got to create space to listen. A lot of people ask questions, universe this, why is this happening, why is that happening? But in that same space, they don't create this silence in which to get the answer. So listen to yourself, and listen to what's being said by others. They can be teachers and healers, remember that. You are seeing the situation accurately. Collectively, we are seeing what's going on accurately. So what we're talking about is a positive perspective. So we are healing down here, guys. This is saying, from me to you, we are all seeing this perspective clearly, and this is what's needing to be done. So we're all coming from down here and moving up. We're all healing in these areas. We're all coming through, and we're all seeing from the higher perspectives. Can you see the Eye of Ra? Which is basically saying that we're moving into a high perspective energy, full moon energy. Light is being shined upon those dark aspects of the self. Balance of the scales, that's what I refer that to. So we're coming into balance with the light shining, and just really taking flight, taking height, and moving into the higher energy frequencies, the higher levels of perspective, which allows us to be able to see the bigger picture and understand there is a plan, there is a design. We are perfectly safe, we are guided, we are loved, we are blessed for everything that we own. So listen to what's being said to you. For everybody who comes to you, our teachers and healers. And remember, we're all collectively seeing the same picture here, so we're all collectively healing this picture. So let's all just put our love to it. If we see shit we don't agree with, that's fine. Don't get angry. Don't send hate to it. Pull back your energy. As I've said in other videos, I don't resonate with this. I'll pull my energy back and send love, and that's what we got to do with everything. It sounds crazy, and everybody will call that a little bit hippie-ish. Well, call me a fucking believer is what I'll say, because I believe we can do it. And we've got to step up and stand out, and so that's what I'm going to continue to do. I have still a minute to play this song, so I'll play the rest of this song for you, and I'll call it a day. But I will be, guys, on Sunday, I will be doing a kind of a question video. So basically just coming on live and just sitting down, and you guys can just pop some questions at me, just for a little bit of fun. You can get to. We'll see what comes through. I'll call my angels in and guides, and yeah. So that'll be Sunday. I'm thinking, let's say 2 p.m. UK time on Sunday. So if you fancy just popping some questions to me, I will be available Sunday 2 p.m. for a good couple of hours, and we'll just talk about whatever if you fancy it. And I mean, you can talk openly, freely, no judgment. And just be you and show your true self and that true light. So listen. And we're all seeing this collectively in perfect harmony. Blessings to you all. Enjoy the music. Oh, I tell you what, if you want the link to my playlist. I've got 2,800 and something like tracks, and they're all spiritual. They're basically all high vibrational music. So if you're looking for a bunch of artists, albums, music that you want to listen to, let me know and I'll send you the link. There's literally, it ranges from rap, hip-hop, folk, Eastern music, meditation music, frequencies, chants, you name it, it's on there. So if you're interested in any high vibrational stuff that you wish to pull away from a little bit of the mainstream, hit me up and I'll send that to you. And on that note, my dear friends, it's been a blessing. Sending love, power, blessings and wisdom. Share this. Ladies, share it with men share it with women. Everybody come together. May we unite, may we heal, and may we realise our potential.